927 Big Chicken Morning Show with Jasmine McBee on V103 ATL's number one for hip-hop, R&B, and throwbacks. Justin Kirnon's in the building. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Tigger. How are you?
Good to see you again. Kirnon Consulting, co-founder of the Ebony Caucus. So yesterday was the last day of the legislative process. Say it again. How did they shut it down? They say what?
We have adjourned sine die.
Sine die.
Sine die.
AKA we out.
We out until next January.
Now, you said you were up. You were there, 8 until 1 o'clock this morning? Oh, my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Until 1 o'clock
working, and you guys barely had a chance to eat.
Yeah, you running from office to office just trying to grab food whenever you get a few moments because, it's a grind, especially on the last day. Lobbyists like myself are just working on behalf of our clients trying to get our bills passed or trying to get other bills stopped. So it's a grind.
Okay, let's talk about what got done yesterday. Tell me about property taxes.
Oh, so you don't ask about specifics.
It's a real small, though, lightweight one.
Specific stuff.
Yeah, property taxes is a thing, right?
So, yeah, property taxes is definitely a thing. And so there were definitely some changes made to property tax. But more important than property taxes, state income tax.
Okay.
State income tax. So there was a bill that passed that would have a flat tax for state income tax.
Really?
So now that tax rate starting January 1st, once the bill is signed by the governor, will be at 5.39%, which makes it a very low. So we're now one of the lowest. Tax states in the country.
Okay.
Sounds good on the surface.
I was about to say, I was like, what's the bad part? What's the bad part?
How do you think state services are paid for?
Well, we've been having a bonus or a surplus forever.
We do.
Okay.
We do have a surplus forever, but we also have things that are unfunded and underfunded within the state budget. And so lowering that state tax rate means less money that's going to be going into the state, which means less money that could be going into some of these programs.
So is it a matter of allocation or how it's properly allocated, or we just don't have the money? There you go. They are going asking the right question. Anyway, I'll get back to that.
When they have certain things that they wanted.
I was going to say that because it seems like they find money for whatever it is they feel like needs it or wants it. Cause, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, oh, we don't have the money. I'm like, we always have the money.
So with a lot of things, it comes down to how the budget is split. And so when you look at the Georgia General Assembly, the only thing by Constitution that they're required to do is pass the budget. Anything else is extra. All of the thousands of bills that get filed every year, that's all extra. The only thing that they're required to do is pass the budget. Georgia has to pass a balanced budget each year, and education takes up more than half of that budget, and then everything else is split into all of those different pots.
Okay, one more I think that could be immensely impactful to the everyday person. Senate Bill 351. Social media. Seeks to require social media companies to get parental permission before letting children younger than 16 create accounts. Also bans the use of social media using school computers and internet and creates new anti-bullying rules. So that this passed.
It's passed, yeah.
So in Georgia, you're supposed to have parental whenever it becomes an actual signed into law.
When it becomes signed into law, yes, that is going to be the case.
Kids under 16 cannot create accounts.
And I'm kind of confused about that. Well, not really confused, but how do you man that? Like, how do you put a stop to that? Because
you put a little thing that says I'm 16
right,
or older.
but if you're they ask your age, so you can put any age on social media. You can be 13 years old and put your date of birth, and it would say you're 21.
And now you just told all of the kids how to bypass this.
Thanks, Jazzy.
No. First of all, I have 17 nieces and nephews. Okay,
and you just told all 17 of them.
No, because they sneak and we have to be real, okay, about kids, our nieces and nephews. So that's what they're doing. So that's what I'm
real
asking.
Parents, but technically the app just has to ask. Just like when you go to an alcohol app, it just asks you your age.
Exactly.
Right. It's the same thing.
And a lot of people aren't being honest, especially some of these kids. So that's what I'm telling these parents. Your child could sneak and still get into some of these apps. So it will be their responsibility to make sure that they don't have these accounts.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, all of this stuff is up to parental responsibility.
Right.
When it comes to how all of these things are done, how all of these things are maintained. But the thing about it is, here in Georgia, that was one of those big pushes. And we have to also remember that there's Atlanta and then there's Georgia. And when you look at the state level and how politics are done on the state level, Georgia's a conservative state, regardless of the fact that we Georgia carried, for President Biden in the past, and then we have 2 Democratic United States senators.
Right.
But when you look at the makeup of the state government, you have a Republican governor, a Republican lieutenant governor. Every constitutional officer is a governor, and Republicans actually are in charge in the state House Representatives and the state Senate.
Voting matters. Is that why the Medicaid has not been expanded at the state level?
So and this was the closest that it's gotten in a long time, but that bill did actually fail in the Senate as well a couple of days ago, and so Georgia still has not expanded Medicaid, and it looks like we'll be kicking that can down the road another year at least.
Tell them how to find you, sir, if they have questions and need answers.
You can find me on Instagram at jk.speaks. You can find me, that's the best way to reach out to me, or LinkedIn for those people that are just, real professional like that. Justin Kirnon, Kirnon. And you can find me on on LinkedIn that way.
Thank you, Justin. Always good to see you, sir.
Absolutely.
Again, these are the people you hire with your votes. So pay attention what they do and don't do after you hire them.
I mean, that's exactly right. And I want to make this point that a lot of people vote, and they're proud of voting. They post their pictures after Election Day. Voting is the bare minimum. Like, that's your constitutional right, but it's the bare minimum you can do. Advocacy is that next step, and that's speaking up and speaking out on the things that are important to you. And that's where we have to make that shift. Okay. We have to do more than just vote. You have to pay attention, and you have to stay informed with all of this stuff that's going on so that you can speak up, because of the fact that your silence means that someone is speaking on your behalf without you having any type of input or influence on it. So, we got to make that shift from voting to advocacy.
Thank you, sir.
Love it.
More Big Ticket Morning Show with Jasmine McBee next on V103.